You know, all it is tracing.
And although this was inspired by the Lake District, this could be a Scottish loch.
Could be anywhere.
You couldn't it?
Yeah. Could be anything you
Central Birmingham. Could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere you want it to be. So I'm just looking at the picture behind you.
Laura's got in touch to say, we have Herdwicks down south in Bath. God, I bet they're a bit warm down there. Our little flock of happiness with the smiley sheep. Have you heard of never called them herdies?
No.
Heard of herdies? No? Oh, they're really, really... anyway, they're the sheep that you see there. They're kind of the only sheep almost that you'll see in the Lake District. Yeah.
I'm going to finish my first hill. I'm using my own picture behind me. It's just reference as a...
But you get the full layout diagram anyway, don't you?
You get placement guide, you have full instructions. I think it's a 20-page document.
Brilliant.
20, which is big, which
Amazing,
my usuals are about 12 to 16, but yeah, it's 20 pages.
So you're really well supported. You can buy the pattern on its own if you want to get the pattern on its own. Amazing value, because it's going to, well, the thing is, every time you make this, if you use different fabrics, you could create a different outlook. You could also, I'm wondering, Delphine, you could crop if you wanted to remake this and make a section.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
$9.99 for those full instructions. Now, you were telling me something really interesting earlier on about proportions and the rule of three.
About the rule of thirds.
Rule of thirds.
Yeah. So when you take this is I'm going to get a bit arty on you now.
Do it.
So when you practice when you take a photograph. You know, when you're out taking the dog for a walk or something like that. So when we take a picture, we always want to put our subject smack bang in the middle of the picture, the photograph or whatever. By using the rule of thirds, you're going to get a bit more of an interesting picture. So if you think of the rule of thirds when it comes to a landscape, either have the actual landscape at the bottom third and the sky the top 2/3, or vice versa, by having the sky only 1/3 and the bottom the landscape 2/3. So that's going horizontal.
Yep.
So that's your rule of thirds that way. Your rule of thirds when it comes to a subject, so say if you're taking a photograph of a tree, have the tree on 1/3 of the picture.
Right.
So not in the centre of the picture. What that's going to do, it's going to draw your eye to that part of the picture. So you're covering a lot more distance. So you're going to fill that negative space with something else, rather than just focusing on the one thing. So whenever you do a painting, drawing, art, quilt, try and think of the rule of thirds by offsetting something.
Because even thinking about a painting of or an applique of a vase of flowers, my go-to would be put it in the centre.
Yeah.
But of course you're right, if you move it, or maybe have like a big ginger jar that's over on one side and then smaller things across, it's much more interesting, and that's just the rules explained.
Exactly. The rule of thirds.
Clever.
So I'm just going to put that one on there.
And I suppose as well with your landscape, that really draws us in, because I feel like I'm not just looking into this lake, I almost feel like, you know, without this bit of grass here, you could almost be on a boat travelling into the lake, aren't you? You're almost being funneled into the lake by what's going on at the sides. Clever stuff.
It is clever stuff.
It's clever when you know how you've done it.
So there you go. So have a bit of a practice when you're taking photographs. I've done my one hill now. So I'm just using my other one as a bit of a reference point.
This is using autumn. This is using the autumn. And Delphine's just put a little bit of blue solid in the background. You could go into your stash. You could get a 1/2 metre of duck egg blue. That would work.